Houston, we're all about culture, music, and live performances. And there's a great one coming up. The Apollo Chamber Players are bringing With Malice Toward None to Miller Outdoor Theater, a multimedia concert inspired by Abraham Lincoln's famous words and what they mean today. It features music from composers like Black Vietnam veteran J. Kimo Williams, with special guests like Houston Poet Laureate Emeritus Deborah Deaton Luton. Catch it live on August 22nd. Free tickets are available starting August 21st at milleroutdoortheater.com.
Today on CityCast Houston, our city is growing its national reputation as a foodie city. So why are so many of our best restaurants struggling to keep their doors open? We're talking with Culture Map editor Eric Sandler to see what's causing so many restaurants to shut down. It's Wednesday, August 13th. I'm Raheel Ramzanali, and here's what Houston's talking about. Hey, quick favor before we get to today's conversation. I need your help. We are doing our annual CityCast Houston listener survey, and it would really help us out if you took it. And if you took last year's, I am super grateful that you did, but we can't use that data anymore. So I need you to take it one more time. Take the survey right now at citycast.fm/survey. It's only 7 minutes long. I timed it, so you will be in and out. That's citycast.fm/survey. And when you take the survey, you will be eligible to win a $250 Visa gift card that you can use at restaurants that are open in Houston. And you can also win some CityCast Houston swag. Take it right now at citycast.fm/survey. Thank you so much. Eric, you followed Houston's food scene for so long, and you've seen lots of restaurants come and go. And unfortunately, closings are part of the industry. But in 2025, it seems like these closures have been announced every single month. Is this the largest amount of closings you've seen in one time period?
It's hard to say. I think the early days of the pandemic, 2020, it just felt like so many places closed that had maybe been kind of struggling behind the scenes, and when they couldn't operate in their dining rooms anymore, that was the last straw. Bernie's Burger Bus and Yaya Mary's and just on and on and on, all these places that went away in 2020. But yeah, this year it's starting to feel pretty bleak. I mean, usually it feels like the openings outnumber the closings, and I think that's still probably true. But the number of closings is even by the usual standards, it feels pretty extreme.
Yeah. Why though? Why are so many restaurants closing down? What is happening, man?
Yeah, it's always a little hard to tell. I mean, restaurants kind of close for their own reasons. The most obvious reason is not as many people are eating there as used to eat there, right? They're not doing the same kind of business that they used to. It's also more difficult to operate than ever before. Labor is much more expensive than it used to be. Cost of goods have gone up. I mean, anyone who goes to the grocery store knows how much more expensive food is now than it was a few years ago. Restaurants are obviously not immune to that. That's why, we've talked about how much more expensive things like barbecue and Tex-Mex are. So, they're dealing with all of that. And people's dining habits have changed, right? That casual weeknight meal just doesn't really exist for a lot of people anymore. They're much more likely to either get a prepared meal from a grocery store or to just order some delivery from a third-party app. So, the kind of restaurants that can participate in that stuff, it hurts some of these kind of mid-tier, kind of fancy casual places.
Yeah, it's been a downhill slide, right? Since COVID, as you mentioned, there have been a lot of closures, but the shortage in labor, that was a big thing. Inflation is kicking both sides, customers and the restaurant side. Then you have, on top of that, when you finally make it out of the clear, then you get Hurricane Beryl. You have the derecho before that. Restaurants are without power for days and then weeks. I mean, how do you even go through and survive? And then some restaurants, Eric, this is just me, talking to friends who own restaurants. Then you have break-ins, you have issues with that, safety, and you're losing money on that side. It's like the cards are stacked against them. And we're supposed to be one of the best when it comes to food here.
Well, and we still are. And there are still plenty of exciting restaurants to talk about. But you're right. It's harder than ever. And it's not like the profit margins were ever super high to begin with. So you're hustling really hard for, maybe 10%.
Hmm.
And it's a hard road, but people do it because they love it. People do it because they feel a sense of hospitality. There's a creative impulse. They want to share what they've learned with people. So it's not that restaurants are ever going to go away, but especially for let's call them sort of independently owned, chef driven kind of places, it really is harder than ever, it seems like.
Yeah. The one that really got me and a lot of people across the city of Houston, it was a surprise out of nowhere. Ryan Lashane announced that they are closing down. Ryan has been on the podcast before, and he was talking about the struggles that the restaurant has gone through, his staff has gone through on an episode with us. But this came out of nowhere. I thought Riel would be the one that, it would survive somehow, some way. But here we are. They are closing down. What happened with Riel?
Well, I think Riel is a good example. I think the economic environment of 2017 when they opened is very different than the economic reality of 2025. There's more restaurants kind of competing in that area. I mean, if you just sort of think about all the places that have opened up, since 2017, Autry Park didn't exist back then. Regent Square didn't exist back then. The Montrose Collective didn't exist. All of these mixed use developments open and they bring in 3, 4, 5 restaurants each. So the number of places just within a couple of miles of Riel has increased dramatically. And people, they want new a lot of the time. They want to try something new, or they want to try something familiar. And I love Riel. I mean, I named it the best restaurant in Houston when I did Houston's Top 100 Restaurants in 2019. So there is no bigger Riel stand in Houston than me. But I also recognize that what I love about it is how quirky it is, and that you can get mushroom empanadas and borscht on the same menu. And I think that could be difficult to explain to people sometimes.
Yeah, chased down by Butterburgers. Like
Right. Yeah. Chased down
that's your
by
menu.
Butterburgers and whiskey shots with Ryan.
Right there in Montrose. I thought that one would be there, and my heart broke when Ryan posted it. Obviously, Lashane is a friend, and I see him often. But yeah, that was a shock. Bistro Manil, another one, and I love that restaurant. Like, I thought they had one of the best burgers. They had a goat cheeseburger that we would go get often, and it's so nice on a beautiful Houston day to go sit on the patio and then walk across and go to the Manil or hang out on the Manil lawn, and it's officially closed. It's done. Like, that is it. And that was another one.
Yeah, I have to admit, Bistro Manila was not in my personal rotation, but I had a lot of respect for the team that created it, and it served its community well. And I think the Manil has been pretty tight-lipped about what their plans are for that building, but I suspect it won't stay empty for long.
Could see another famous restaurant maybe at a museum like La Jardiniere, right? Like, we've seen that happen now, and that's a Michelin rated restaurant.
It wouldn't surprise me if the people at the Manil are looking at Le Jardinier at the Museum of Fine Arts and being like, ooh, yeah, casual cafe was cool, but destination fine dining, like that really speaks to kind of who we are. So we'll see what they do. I have sent them an email that they completely ignored. So who knows? We'll hope for the best on that.
Okay, let's talk about a Houston institution, Pico's. It's been around for 44 years. It has survived so many different ups and downs. And Pico's is officially closing as well. I know executive producer Laura Isensee, she was heartbroken with this announcement. Her family went there all the time. What happened with Pico's?
This is the one that caught me off guard. Like I had a bit of a feeling about Riel, but Pico's caught me completely by surprise because it has been such a pioneering restaurant. When it opened in the Bel Air area in the 80s, Houston was all Tex-Mex back then. And we didn't understand the difference between, Mexican food and Tex-Mex, which I think Houstonians are very familiar with that now. But, seafood enchiladas, cochinita pibil, all the different moles, margaritas that are made with lime juice and not with sweet and sour mix. All of these things that Pico's did back in the day that really elevated and changed the way that people thought about Mexican food.
I was talking to Laura before, and they featured Mexican food from so many different regions of Mexico, which was really unique. As you mentioned, it was a pioneering restaurant.
And then, of course, in 2014, they moved to their current location at Kirby in Richmond, and it was a step up in design. It was a step up in their cocktail program and their beverage offering. It was a step up in their food. You know, all of a sudden they're doing duck and rabbit and some of these other proteins. So it's hard to explain. And I think the Houston Chronicle had a good interview with Chef Ronaldo Richards about this, where he said, look, their revenue was down significantly year over year from 2025 to 2024. And then he lost two key members of his team. His brother Alex passed away from cancer a couple of years ago, which was just a tragedy. And then his daughter Monica, who had been the beverage director and kind of the guiding light for all the tequila dinners and some of the other events they were doing, she decided to move on and start her own florist business. So, you know, declining revenue, loss of personnel. It's hard. I mean, he's been in business for almost 45 years. I'm not surprised that he decided to just call it a day.
I'll be honest, I never went to Pico's. That was not in our family's rotation. You know, we were more of the ninfas, but yeah, it's just sad to see this. And it's happening to other businesses, by the way, real quickly, since you brought this up. I mean, my family's going through this. My dad has been in business for 30 plus years here in the city of Houston. He's getting to the age where he wants to retire and he wants to shut down shop. He doesn't want to work anymore. I wonder if we're going to see that with other restaurants, mom and pop ones that have been around, and other businesses where our parents are just getting older.
Yeah, you know, I noticed recently that over the last couple of years, you know, Hugo Ortega and Tracy Vaught, they have, you know, 4 restaurants around town. Their daughter, Sophia, has been more and more involved in the business. It's like, oh, good. Mm-hmm. You know, thankfully, that means that Hugo's and Sochi and Herbe and Caracol will live on because their daughter wants to be involved in the business. But yeah, it's a tough sell. These family-owned places, nothing is guaranteed.
Like me, you're probably looking for some good road trips to make the most out of summer. Well, let me tell you about Port Aransas. My family and I spent a weekend there, and we can't wait to go back because Port A is such a unique beach town. First, almost everybody rolls around the island in golf carts. It is so cool. Second, you can make sun-soaked memories by hanging out on the beach all day, or mix it up and try your hand at some surfing or parasailing. We did that and the entire family loved it. Or you can go fishing with one of the many charters setting sail from the harbor. Port A has something for everyone, and it's an easy drive from Houston, making it a great road trip destination. One visit and you'll see why generations of Texans have anchored their traditions to the island life. Go to visitportaransas.com and plan your trip to Texas's beach.
Got any fun trips coming up? One thing you probably haven't put on your packing list is learning the language. But with Babbel, you can start talking in just a few weeks. I'm David Plotz, the CEO of CityCast, and I've been learning Spanish with Babbel. And I also just persuaded my friend who's going to France this fall to learn French with Babbel, but that is another story. Babbel's extremely fun and intuitive. It's like having a private tutor in your pocket. Handcrafted by over 200 language experts, Babbel's lessons are voiced by real native speakers and built with science-backed cognitive tools and interactive features to fit any learning style. I love a lot of the different Babbel features. The Babbel games for sentence building, Babbel speech recognition, which helps me get the pronunciation right. And now I'm really into Babbel's word of the day, which greets me on the homepage of the app. Every day, a new word revealed like a little surprise with a sentence to help contextualize it. It's like a daily treat for me. Studies from Yale, Michigan State, and other leading universities continue to prove that Babbel works. One study found that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college. Look, I want you to learn another language. So I'm teaming up with Babbel to gift you 55% off subscriptions, but only for CityCast listeners at babbel.com/CityCast. Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/CityCast. Spelled BABBEL.com/CityCast. Babbel.com/CityCast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Eric, is this happening in other cities right now too? Like the big foodie cities like Chicago, LA, New York, those come to mind. Is this happening there with all these restaurants, famous restaurants closing down?
I have to admit, it's hard for me to track that. I am a Houston focused kind of person,
Mhm.
but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it is. They're subject to the same economic pressures as restaurants in Houston are.
Let's talk about the future. How can we prevent this, right? What are restaurants doing right now in similar positions to boost sales, to keep the doors open? Have you talked to other people about this?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's nervous about decreased number of diners and especially weekdays, right? Like that weekday crowd that could kind of sustain you just isn't as prevalent as it used to be. And so, they're trying specials, they're trying things that they can do at a lower price point. They're trying more to-go options that are affordable for people and family friendly. So, I mean, even being more engaged on social media, showing up in those Facebook groups and being more active on Instagram and TikTok, keeping yourself in front of people. That's really important.
Man, it is tough out there and they can do everything that's possible. I wonder, should our local government get involved? Should city officials do something, right? Like we are a city known for its food. We have Houston Restaurant Weeks going on right now. We have huge festivals. This is a tourist destination in a certain way, right? Like it helps the city out. I wonder if there's something there to get some help.
I think I'm enough of a capitalist that I'm going to say that I don't necessarily want the government weighing in on this or
Mhm.
picking winners and losers, right? I trust diners to kind of make the decisions that are best for them and to support the places that they love. And sometimes that means that I'm going to lose a restaurant because it's not reaching people in the
Yeah.
same way that it used to, and that's painful and it's unfortunate, but economically, it's probably for the best.
Yeah, I wonder if it's more promotional, right? When it comes from industry groups or city boosters or tourism arm or something.
You know,
I
it's
don't
it's
know.
just it's just how many places can we send our friend Sean the food sheep to,
Yeah.
right? Because
Can
every
we get
place he
Sean?
goes just seems to blow up afterwards. That's
Yeah.
that's the key.
Shout out to Sean the Food Sheep. Great, great friend of the show. And we love everything that he's doing. Let's talk about people who have aspirations, chefs and restaurateurs who want to open a concept. Do you think they should delay opening? Should they reconsider the concepts? What do you think about that?
Well, I think they might want to, if for no other reason than the more restaurants close, the more spaces that become available. Inevitably the real estate has to get a little cheaper, right? The rents have to go down a little bit,
Mhm.
and that provides more freedom, more flexibility, more ability to charge what you want or serve the kind of menu you want. So it's hard to predict what the future holds, right? We live in particularly uncertain times right now, especially economically.
Yeah.
So I haven't heard of people delaying plans, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's happening.
What about current chefs? What are they saying about these uncertain times? Which, by the way, I'm tired of living in uncertain times. I want to live in certain times. Like these last few years have all been uncertain. But what about current chefs? What are they thinking? And are they stressed out, of course, about the future?
Yes, everybody's stressed out about, and at all price points, right? The fine dining places that are worried about decline in, business expense dinners and private parties and all that stuff are just as nervous as the casual places that are feeling the pinch from all the chain restaurants that are nipping at their heels.
Okay. If we were looking at a graph right now, in my opinion, we are kind of on a downhill slide right now. It seems like it, right? Are we about to go up or are we going to plateau out? Like, where do you think we are for the next few months and years?
Well, I hope that we're reaching a plateau. I don't want us to continue on a downslope, but I do think while the market is sort of sifting out these new tariffs and some of the other changes taking place, I do worry that we're going to continue to see a downward slide until, the global economy, the overall national economic situation regains some stability.
If you can, go out and support a local restaurant, share, post on Google, review them. I can't tell you how much that helps local businesses when you just drop a 5-star review. If you had a 5-star experience, it's free to do that. It feels like it's one of those times we need to rally and help out our friends.
Right. If you had a 5-star experience, share your 5-star experience.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a 2-star experience, keep it to yourself. No one needs to know about that.
Or just tell the restaurant privately. A lot of restaurants will want to learn from that. I used to work at Landry's, right? And that's a chain. So it's a little different, but we would get 1-star, 2-star experiences all the time. And, general managers would reach out. And I found that if I had a bad experience at a restaurant, I just tell the person right there. It's awkward at times, right? Maybe email them or call them after. But most of these restaurants will reach back out and try to make it right. And we'll try to improve from it.
No, I think that's true. No one gets into the restaurant business to give people a bad experience. So they want to make it right. They want you to be happy within the bounds of reason and good taste. And I think you're right. I think people don't like to be confrontational in that moment. They don't want to send the overcooked steak back. They don't want to argue about the taste of the wine or something. But if you can send that email or message them on Instagram, I'd say 9 times out of 10, they'll do something to fix it.
Eric, thank you so much for joining us.
Raheel, thanks for having me.
That was Eric Sandler. You can read his work at Culture Map. And we have more details on the restaurants we talked about today with the links in our show notes. Hey, a big shout out to Jasmine L. and Angelina L. for becoming CityCast Houston neighbors. Be like them and become a CityCast Houston neighbor. It's our new membership program. For just $10 a month, you'll get ad-free listening, invites to members-only events, and an early look at events in Hey Houston. Join right now at membership.citycast.fm, and when you do, I'll also give you a shout-out as well on CityCast Houston. Help us grow the show by sharing this episode with 3 foodie friends and ask them to subscribe to CityCast Houston, and also check out Hey Houston, our daily newsletter for more restaurant news. The link to subscribe is in our show notes. Thank you. That will do it for today. I'm Raheel Ramzanali. Thank you for listening. And hey, drop us a 5-star review as well.